The commissioner said he didn't believe he was anti-Semitic. The punishment is is long.
On today's Wind Up Wednesday edition of the Odd Coaches podcast, Dr. Adams and Coach Francis recap the NBA week in review, including the potential return of Kyrie Irving, discuss early season college basketball news and notes, as well as previewing the upcoming week in college and pro basketball. Welcome to today's show.
Greetings and salutations, and welcome to the Odd Coaches podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Keith Adams, and with me today is my tag team partner in honor of the first Starcade, because this is going to be aired the day before Thanksgiving. The assassin number one to my assassin number two in Starcade 83, which was the first Starcade ever. The icon, showstopper, the main event, and the reason why we are here, Coach Mike Francis and Coach Gobble Gobble. Happy Thanksgiving. Hope you're well. And do you do turkey, by the way?
I do on Thanksgiving. Yes, sir. Thank you.
I don't give a darn about turkey. I'm going to try to go to a steakhouse in Vegas.
Hey,
I'm sick of I don't do the cranberries and all, man.
No?
People just be making stuff up for Thanksgiving.
Oof.
And stop putting all this stuff in sweet potatoes. Somebody gave me sweet potatoes with pineapple in it. Who does that? Okay,
Oh,
exactly.
No, that person
I'm not crazy.
No, that person need to be fired.
Why are we
No,
doing
that's
all
worse
this
than
extra?
potato salad with raisins. Come on, man. Stop.
I do sweet potato pie, though.
Yeah.
I will pause for your sweet potato. I'll eat pumpkin. I'm not anti-pumpkin.
Right.
But I want sweet potato pie myself, and probably why I'm type 2. But that's another story. So let's jump into it. Mike, I'm kind of at a loss. Okay, so I'm going to need your help with this. This is not in the show notes because this happened. Like as we taped, this occurred. So Brooklyn Nets guard Kyrie Irving gave his most formal apology in a video that was published, saying clearly that he is not anti-Semitic, that he wanted to apologize deeply for his social media post around a book and a movie featuring anti-Semitic ideas. Kyrie said, and I quote, "I'm not anti-Semitic. I never have been. I don't have hate in my heart for Jewish people or anyone that identifies as a Jew. I am not anti-Jewish or anything like that. It's been difficult to sit at home with my family with them seeing all of this and having questions." Kyrie is serving a team-imposed suspension that forced him to miss the last 8 games as of this taping, and he has been listed questionable to resume play as we tape today. Kyrie was initially suspended November 3rd for the harmful impact of his comment. The Nets have gone 5-3 without him, but several players were hopeful that he would be back on the floor as soon as possible. Mike, any thoughts before I try to sort this out myself?
I don't know. Nah, I lost interest. I'll be honest with you. I lost interest in the guy a long time ago. You know that.
Yes.
So,
what are we doing, man? The commissioner said he didn't believe he was anti-Semitic. The punishment is long. And we've got a lot of season to play. So I'm curious to see how the Nets are going to play this, because they've created the environment where this can be a part of post-game, press conferences. So I'm curious to see if the Nets will squash anything moving forward so the focus can be, back on basketball. So we will continue to follow the story. But again, I'm at a loss. So moving on, welcome back. Saying that the recovery from a torn ACL could be a 2-year process, Kawhi Leonard returned to the court, and he is under a minutes restriction, but he is now playing again, and the Clippers are playing well. What are we thinking, man? Is now that Kawhi is back, the Clippers are going to start that natural ascension based on the amount of talent that they have on their roster this year, according to the paper. On paper.
What's my over/under for games played again?
I don't think we formally did the Kawhi, but we will talk about the other one a little later in the show.
Yeah, I don't see the Clippers doing anything because Paul George, when he come back, Paul George will probably go out. It's always that's life's about cycles, man. That's all I keep saying.
All right. So this happened, Mike. Do you treat visitors like they're at home? Following Milwaukee's loss to Philadelphia last week, something weird happened. And I saw the video out of context, and then I saw the video in context. So Bucks superstar Giannis Antetokounmpo had a bad night from the free throw line. So after a game, like a true person who takes their profession serious, he wanted to get shots up.
Oh,
Problem
man.
was he wasn't at home. He wasn't in Milwaukee. He was in Philadelphia. And people got jobs, man. People got things to do.
Right.
So the workers are like, trying to do whatever they were doing with the ladder. He was moving the ladder out the way to finish his routine. Montrezl Harrell from the Sixers was doing his routine. And he's like, man, I'm home. What am I waiting for you for? And, Giannis ended up moving the ladder or something.
No, he threw the ladder.
Okay.
I saw the video. He threw the ladder.
So, what are your thoughts on the situation?
I would have whooped his ass.
Ouch. He's not home.
But okay, so Giannis plays for a living. This guy is one of the custodial staff members or engineers of the building. That's his job. Yeah. You don't go disrespect that man by taking that ladder and throwing that ladder like that. I don't care who you are. I don't care how much money you make. It's probably why I never could coach college or the NBA because money don't stop me from punching you in your mouth.
Yeah.
You don't disrespect. I don't play the disrespect. No, man. No.
Yeah. If you're not home, you're a guest. So take that somewhere else and be mad in the morning. But all right. Thanks, Mike.
Yeah, so, man, you can't do that, man. Stop.
Benching stars. So after converting just 1 of 14 shots, Bulls star Zach LaVine was benched for the final 4 minutes or so in a recent loss to the Orlando Magic. And it's a decision LaVine said he disagreed with after the game. He mentioned that he has to do better, but quite frankly, he has not been playing well. And the quote is from Zach LaVine: "I got to do a better job at the beginning of the game to make my shots. But you play a guy like me down the stretch. That's what I do. Do I like the decision? No. Do I have to live with the decision? Yeah. Be ready to put my shoes on and play the next game." The Bulls have dropped to a season high 4 consecutive games at the time of this taping. They're 6-10. On the court, they were minus 19 with LaVine on the floor, the worst of any individual player during that game. Mm. Mike, put your coaching hat on. How do you deal with benching, quote, stars, unquote?
I just said a minute ago about me. Like, I don't have no problem. I don't care who you are. If we're going to be a team and we're going to be a team, you got to understand that you are not above being treated like anyone else on this team. That's just me. Like,
yeah.
I'm not.
Now, how often, because you're still coaching, do you guys use the plus minus stat in your game planning, management, anything like that?
Depends on what it is. Like,
because they were minus 19 with LaVine on the floor, which means, folks, they were outscored by 19 points when he was on the court. Mm-hmm. That's not good. That's bad math, actually.
It's horrible, man. It's horrible, man. It's horrible, man. But guess what? I would look at it and depend on how does it relate to everyone else. How are we on the court? Like, what's going on? That's the thing. Okay. So, but if you're not playing well, you're not playing well. And I'm not just going to leave you out there. And I don't believe in that shit. I'm going to play through my phone.
Yeah, you got to shoot it out.
No, you watch. You watch him play and say, damn, I don't want to do this again. And then you get your butt back out there and you play.
Play through it. Play through it.
All right. You're going to sit through it.
The secret to success. James Wiseman has been not demoted, but sent down to the Warriors G League affiliate, the Santa Cruz Warriors, for an extended period of time. Wiseman's stint could last up to 10 consecutive days.
Mm.
Wiseman doesn't look at it as a demotion. It's just an opportunity to get him more minutes on the court because he has been playing well. Mike, is it a demotion?
I don't think it's a demotion. I think it's just time to get him more reps. He can't work through it. Like, for instance, this is better than the bench. It might mess with his psyche a little bit. It's better than the bench if you have the opportunity. I mean, guys go down to work in minor leagues for baseball all the time.
Yeah, that's what the G League's for, man.
Right. And if more teams used it, or if more players accepted it as a positive thing like they do in baseball, and understand I'm getting reps. I might not be in front of a sold-out crowd, but I'm getting the reps necessary.
100% agree with you. I had a rule that although I like sophomores on varsity, if they were not in the top 8, meaning the rotation, there's no need to keep them up there. Now, again, if you're in the top 8, you're getting 8 to 15 minutes a game of live game action. I'm cool with that. But if we weren't going to get you minutes, I'm not just going to have you sitting when you could be playing 30 minutes on the court, blah, blah, blah. So, all right, pay attention. For the first time in 12 years, USA basketball is not atop the world men's rankings. FIBA, the sports governing body, updated its rankings last week, and Spain moved to the top spot, just a slither ahead of the U.S. FIBA's rankings were changed in 2017 to a system that takes results from the most recent 8 years into account. That means the U.S. is no longer reaping the benefits of winning the 2014 World Cup, but is still seeing the Olympic gold medal won in Rio and Tokyo as factoring into their rankings. Spain is just 1.1 point ahead of the U.S. right now. The next spots in the world rankings remain unchanged. Australia is 3rd, Argentina is 4th, France, Serbia, Slovenia, Lithuania, Greece, Italy, Germany, and the Czech Republic. For those who want to know on the women's side, the U.S. women are way ahead, and it's not even worth the conversation. Okay. Any thoughts, Mike? Because the last few years of the draft that we covered, you kept poo-pooing me about all these outside forces, and you're seeing the rankings. Our young kids are getting beat by, in these tournaments, they're losing. So anyway, any thoughts?
They're getting some thoughts, man. Like, there's some thoughts. It's okay. It's glad to see the game being, growing.
It's like a global game, man.
Yeah, it is, and I really, really look. I think that's good. I think it's really good for that. But I'm still, when it comes down to it, at that highest level possible, if you ain't tough enough, you can't get it done. Each time you go up, you got to get tougher. So the FIBAs, all, you can have that. When they all start tearing up the NBA, and they all start, when they look at a Kenyon Martin or somebody like that and bump through, then I'll worry about it. It's just.
All right. Remember, the last couple of MVPs have been a European player.
I don't even want to talk about that. But I will say, okay, we'll talk later. All right. I'm gonna say it off air. I ain't gonna say it.
All right, last thing for segment 1. Keep an eye on this. Miles Bridges was headed for a possible max contract as a restricted free agent, coming off of a season where he had 20 points a game, and he was a candidate for most improved. Unfortunately, he had a incident with his wife, who posted pictures on Instagram showing her with severe bruises across her face. No NBA team signed him in the offseason. Bridges wound up pleading no contest, and he will serve 3 years probation, but not face any jail time. Now that we're in the season, teams are not playing well or underperforming, and Miles Bridges has caught the eye of teams such as the Los Angeles Lakers and the Detroit Pistons as people who are monitoring his situation. The NBA is still conducting its own investigation, and the Charlotte Hornets also still hold his rights because they did tender him a qualifying offer, and has the right to match any offer he signs. The qualifying offer expired in October, but because they never rescinded it, paperwork's in the way. Mike, if you're a coach, GM, owner, are you inquiring about Miles Bridges?
I don't know. It depends on like what kind of situation. That whole situation with the girlfriend or the fiance wife, I'm not sure. That it's hard to look past. I don't care what nobody say. Those aren't tough. But I also know that things happen amongst couples, and at the end of the day, no matter what, no man should put his hand on a female.
The legal issue has been solved.
I don't care. But I just don't. I can't. I mean, it happens. We're mature men know better. You know better. All right, we're not doing that. You know,
Mike, your Lakers need help, though.
I don't care what they need. he ain't gonna help them.
Okay. All right. With that, fans, we'll take a brief break, come back and talk some college news and notes, as well as do things strictly for entertainment purposes in segment 3 on the Odd Coaches podcast.
There is an old business adage that says, what gets measured and monitored gets done. It is also fact that deadlines spur action. That is what the CKA Save Project academic monitoring service can do for student athletes. Measure and monitor their academic progress to improve their grades. Our academic monitoring services provide ongoing academic support for student athletes for a designated period of time. Our academic success coaches work with student athletes on time management and organizational skills, along with improving their ability to self-advocate. Every few weeks, our academic success coaches meet with student athletes to assess their academic progress, as well as provide ongoing academic advising. If needed, student athletes have access to CKA Learning Specialists who provide virtual core subject academic support for student athletes. For more information, visit us on the web at www.ckasaveproject.org or schedule a free virtual consultation with Dr. Keith Adams by email at cka@ckasaveproject.org.
Welcome back to the Odd Coaches podcast in segment 2 as we try to avoid meetings. We first want to show some love for UVA. UVA's had a bad week, tragic incidents, and shout out to their basketball team who used a big second half run to knock off then number 5 Baylor last week in the first game played since 3 Cavaliers football players were injured in a campus shooting. A moment of silence was held before the game. Again, we send our thoughts and prayers out to the University of Virginia family and community. So Mike, moving forward, there's some things that coaches have to worry about that, quite frankly, I don't know if we had to worry about them, and you're still in it. So I want to talk to you about what's going on at Albany. Okay. Albany's men's basketball coach, Dwayne Killings, athletic director, Mark Benson, and the university are being sued by a former walk-on regarding a pregame incident a year ago that involved physical contact and what happened in the aftermath. The lawsuit, from media reports, accuses Killings of assault and battery and tortious interference for allegedly hampering a former player from continuing his studies at the university and hindering his chances of transferring to another school. Killings, who is Black, allegedly assaulted. I do not have Luke Fitzeulich. That is the gentleman's name. Allegedly assaulted Luke Fitzeulich before a road game early last season. Fitzeulich, who is white, is seeking compensatory and punitive damages for his, quote, emotional and psychological well-being, damages to reputation, loss of education and athletic opportunities, future income losses, and loss of future career prospects. Okay. Right. He was a sophomore who transferred from Marquette, where Killings had served as an assistant, played 22 games last season, then entered the transfer portal. The school conducted an investigation after officials was made aware of allegations. The investigations confirmed that there was physical contact between Killings and a member of the basketball team during a pregame hype circle. Why is the coach in the pregame hype circle? I'm sorry.
Okay. What?
The incident was not reported until the administration received a complaint. Killens was given a 5-game suspension, which he completed this past week, the day the lawsuit was filed. He was also fined $25,000. The university investigation concluded that it was an isolated incident. Killens admitted his mistake and apologized. The lawsuit also claims that the university initially decided to fire Killens after the investigation, but local businesses and civil rights leaders pressured the school not to. It also claims that the university showed preference to the coach because of his race and alleges that the school violated a section of the Civil Rights Act, which prohibits racial discrimination by programs that receive federal funds. Benson is cited for breach of contract. Mike, that's why I gave you the notes in advance. Wow, that's a lot to unpack. What do you think about all of that? The guy's getting sued.
Mm-hmm.
The school punished him.
Mm-hmm.
What are you thinking, man?
How did all this go and not this one time been like a big story? Do you remember it?
I remember the incident, and it was one of those internal matters. And one thing that I've learned, being a former athletic administrator, is everything's a big deal. And if you go through procedures, you let the procedures be evil, not the people. So whatever you don't tell is what comes out later. So tell it all, tell it first, tell it yourself. And if
did he follow him from Marquette? I'm trying to figure it out.
Yeah,
they had a relationship.
The kid came because of the coach.
Right.
Seems like it from the article.
That's what I was looking for.
And something happened in the pregame hype circle. Kid fell out of favor. These things happen. But instead of letting the kid go, apparently it appears that there was some pause or something. And yeah. So, and now it's in the legal system, and I want nothing to do.
With the
legal
system. No, sir.
So, yeah. All right. Finally, this is something I wanted to get your thoughts on. On the road again, guard Jose Perez has enrolled at West Virginia for the spring semester after leaving Manhattan following the firing of coach Steve Marcello at the beginning of the season. Coach Bob Huggins announced Perez's enrollment last week, saying the player's eligibility status for games and practices will be determined at a later date. Perez is a 6'5", fifth-year senior and was chosen as the preseason player of the year in the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference. He averaged 18.9 points, 4.5 assists, 3.2 rebounds a year ago, so he can help your program. West Virginia is his fourth school. He spent 2 seasons at Gardner-Webb, 1 season each at Marquette and Manhattan. Mike, is this the new normal? So we ain't mad at the kid for leaving or all, but he's got to have like no credit. Because I know how schools are when you transfer in. You got nothing. They're going. So what do you think about, on the road again? Huh?
That's crazy, man. Like, how do you graduation ain't a part of the process, I guess. Is that what we said?
I just was reading it and was like, this must be the new normal.
Man, everywhere you go, you lose.
Yeah. You lose credit.
You lose credits. You're not going. Every school doesn't accept it. That's how they get the money. So
as a high school coach, how are you advising your player coming out of high school? Because that guy was a preseason. If I can get a preseason player of the year now, I'm gonna take him. I'm gonna take him. Why wouldn't I add that to my team?
Ain't nothing you can tell me.
Yeah. So. All right, fans, segment 3, we're going to preview this upcoming week in the NBA, talk a little bit about college and little things for strictly for entertainment purposes only on the iCoaches podcast.
The reviews are in for Dr. Keith Adams' book, Finding the Balance, My Personal Journey to Academic and Athletic Success. College professor and student athlete academic expert Dr. Lisa Rubin said, "There is nothing out there like this book, so I do hope people will pay attention and give it a read." Former George Mason standout Fowler and Campbell said, Consider this book an opportunity to work directly with Dr. Adams, just like I did. I assure you that there will be something you can take away that will be useful to you throughout your personal journey. Ryan Waite, a recent college graduate who is a software engineer, said, I like how the book is based on research, which makes it good for general students as well as student athletes. The book serves as both a memoir to Dr. Adams' 30-year academic and athletic career, as well as an instructional guide to assist student athletes, parents, coaches, teachers, and administrators navigate through the challenges of finding a better balance between academic and athletic success. The book includes over 15 personal stories and anecdotes from Dr. Adams, along with numerous former players and colleagues from a variety of sports and endeavors. You can order your copy at www.ckasaveproject.org. From the main page, simply click CKA Save Project Services and order the Find the Balance book. For more information, contact Dr. Keith Adams by email at cka@ckasaveproject.org.
Welcome back to the Odd Coaches Podcast. In segment 3, we preview the week ahead of the NBA. So going into this week, top 3 in the Eastern Conference, I've got Boston, the Bucks, and the Hawks based on the records. Okay, the middle 3, Toronto Raptors are 7, Knicks are 8, and the Sixers are 9. And the bottom 3 seems to be the same 3, Mike: Orlando, Charlotte, and Detroit. But keep an eye this week on Indiana, keep an eye on Boston, and keep an eye on Kyrie's potential return. Any thoughts on the Eastern Conference?
I'm not.
Any thoughts on the Eastern Conference?
No, not at all. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Western Conference, top 3. Utah, as of this taping, is the number 1 team in the Western Conference. What is going on? I don't. What are you? Anyway, Memphis is number 2. Portland's number 3. I didn't think Utah would be good this year. I really did not. Middle 3, Clippers, Sacramento, and number 9 is the New Orleans Pelicans. Zion is hurt again, but he's played 11 games thus far, and he should be fine going into this week. Shut up. I don't know why he's hurt.
I don't want to.
But he's hurt. He's hurt. But he's played 11 games thus far.
Okay.
Bottom 3, 13 Spurs, 14 Lakers, 15 Houston. Keep an eye on Sacramento. They've been putting some wins up, Mike. Dallas and the Clippers have been putting up wins the last 10 games. Any thoughts on the Western Conference?
No. No, I'm joking. I don't know what's going to come through as far as Phoenix is concerned. I mean, I'm waiting for them to hit a really, like a situation to where they separate themselves. I don't know if anybody other than Phoenix, because of their makeup, can really separate themselves in the Western Conference.
It's like a big schmoz right now.
It is.
Nobody is really doing anything outside of the Bucks' extended winning streak. And Boston's on the cusp right now of winning 10 in a row. Mm-hmm. But everybody else is just kind of hanging around and still feeling themselves out. So we're going to move on to college, and we're not getting into rankings or anything like that yet. But here's some teams to keep an eye on, Mike. Here's 3 men's teams and 3 women's teams that I'm watching this week. I'm watching Houston because they're ranked pretty high right now. They play in the American, and they're winning a lot of games. So I'm just keeping an eye on them. Creighton's winning games as well. And then Cornell just beat Syracuse last week. Yeah. So I always like to keep an eye on a mid-major and just, I'm going to see if they're still winning or if that one is one of those anomaly games. On the women's side, Virginia Tech in our preseason, I was surprised that they were ranked and they're winning games. So I'm keeping an eye on Virginia Tech. And I'm keeping an eye on UConn. AZ Flood's balling right now. She's balling at another level. And then Stanford and South Carolina are playing each other as we tape. But we talked a little bit about Stanford football. Man, Stanford women's basketball, Tar Vanderbilt still has it going. That
thing just keeps rotating, don't it?
So you can win at Stanford. I just don't know what you could do in these other sports because Stanford and every other sport is doing something. So this week I'm going to be in Vegas, man. So we got a lot of games on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday for me to bet on. But Wednesday, I do have a couple of games of interest that I kind of want to get your thoughts on. American versus Georgetown. Georgetown's not off to a hot start, Mike. Not off to a hot start. And this is the silly season in terms of who you're playing. And they're not real. They lost to Northwestern. They lost to like Gardner Webb or somebody else. I don't remember the other team. Come on, man. Come on, Hoyas. When you get to conference play, it's going to be hard to hide. Right now, you should be hiding.
We're going to see Georgetown and American on Wednesday morning.
Yeah, I'm going to watch it, man.
My brother got tickets.
So. Okay.
Yeah, he called me this morning.
I'm sure there'll be plenty of seats available.
I might sit on the end of the bench, like Robert Harris said.
That's right.
Put me in the game.
I almost had triple double. Can't say the rest of that bit, but man, that dude was funny. Another game of interest to me.
You can go to a Clemson game.
Is Missouri is playing Virginia Tech in the women's side on Wednesday, and in the NBA, I kind of want to see Dallas against Boston, and I want to see our own Washington Wizards against the Miami Heat. On Thanksgiving Day, Duke is playing Oregon State. So I haven't had a chance to watch Duke play. No better time than in Las Vegas to actually watch a game. So I'm going to check that game out. On the women's side, George Mason plays LSU, and I do want to check them out. Friday on the NBA side, Portland's playing the Knicks. I want to check them out. And I want to see Brooklyn play Indiana because Kyrie might be playing by then, and I'm interested in that. And then, of course, Coppin's playing Maryland on Friday. So I want to watch Maryland. I haven't seen them. At Maryland.
Friday night?
Friday night. And Maryland ain't going to Coppin. Come on, man. So as we close, you're going to listen to this the day before Thanksgiving. Mike, any thoughts you have about Thanksgiving? Any special shout outs you'd like to do, sir?
I want to say thanks to everyone. Thanks to my family. Thanks to my parents. Thanks to all my friends. And thanks to you for being supportive, always being there. I'm just thankful all the way around. Every day we wake up, it's a blessing. So I start my day off with Victory Lap by Nipsey Hussle, because every day is a victory lap. You should be celebrating that you woke up. You should be celebrating from start to finish. So I just want to say thanks to everyone. And I'm very appreciative. I'm very appreciative of all the love and support.
Yes, indeed. And my high school coach, the late great Hank Galata, used to give us all a Thanksgiving message, and he every year would just pause us. And Thanksgiving is my favorite holiday because it's like the last thing you do before the commercialism hits of the next holiday season. So I always like to give pause. I am the luckiest cat in the world. I get to hang out with my friend and talk sports like all the time. We're in a group chat with two of my former players, and everybody is family. And man, if you want some entertainment, just let Will go about whatever's on Will's mind. Just let him go. I am so fortunate to have finally moved and have a place where I can be in a creative space. And, for all the work that CKA does, the book's a year old now, and we're working on the leadership book now, and it's just a good time. So I hope you all have time to spend with your family, your friends. You get to swap some lies and tell some stories, and just take the moment before the hustle and bustle, and you hear Mariah Carey every 5 minutes singing about Christmas.
She don't want a lot. She don't want a lot for Christmas.
So again, On behalf of my tag team partner, Coach Mike Francis, I'm Dr. Keith Adams saying thank you for listening and or watching. Super producer Kelly will put on the screen somewhere to like, subscribe, click the YouTube button because I don't know how Twitter is going to be working the next couple of weeks. Got to get my Instagram game up. Hi, Queenie. And we'll see you on the sidelines. Till next time, take care.
The Odd Coaches podcast is sponsored by the CKA Save Project. The CKA Save Project is an industry leader in providing student-athlete academic and athletic support. From assessing student-athletes' academic and athletic skills to measuring and monitoring student-athlete academic progress to improving student-athlete time management and organizational skills, the CKA Save Project provides wraparound services for student-athletes from middle school through college. For more information, visit us on the web at www.ckasaveproject.org or schedule a free consultation with Dr. Keith Adams by emailing cka@ckasaveproject.org. We hope you enjoyed today's show. The Odd Coaches podcast drops new episodes every Tuesday through Friday on most weeks. Make sure you subscribe to the Odd Coaches podcast on Apple Music, iHeartRadio, Podbean, Spotify, and YouTube. Follow the Odd Coaches podcast on Twitter and Instagram at Odd Coaches. Follow Dr. Adams on Twitter and Instagram at CKA Save Project. In addition, follow Coach Mike Francis on Twitter and Instagram at Coach Franchise, spelled Coach FRANCHIZE. For more information about the CKA Save Project, please visit them on the web at www.ckasaveproject.org. See you next time on the Odd Coaches podcast.